good day everyone. I hope you're doing well. Today we're gonna together with my group mates, Janica Perete and Michelle Ocfemia, we're going to discuss about the issues of grammar, teaching and assessment. So, our objectives is to justify the occurrence of the issues identified in teaching and assessing grammar. First objective. Second objective is to deduce the relevance and implication of understanding issues in grammar teaching. So in this slide, you will see it's like a phrase saying, "Let's eat, grandma." I let's eat, grandma. Next sentence it has quit. Let's eat, grandma. Um, says here, punctuation saves lives. On the first sentence, it has no a comma. It's like say, let's eat grandma. It's like saying you are going to eat your grandma. On the second sentence, it says, let's eat grandma. It's like you're asking your grandma to eat. Why should we teach? Why teach grammar? We have seven arguments of why should we teach grammar. First is the sentence machine argument, and next is the fine tuning argument. Third is the fossilization argument. It's going to be discussed by me, the first three arguments. Next we have the advanced organizer argument, the learner expectation argument, and the rule of law argument. Last, we have the discrete item argument. So, so in the sentence machine argument, it says item learning, memorization of individual phrases, limit to number of items a person can retain. Grammar enables us to generate new sentences. It offers the learners the means to limitless linguistic creativity. Next, next argument we have the fine tuning argument. Grammar allows for greater subtlety of meaning. Grammar serves as corrective against ambiguous. Just like the man saw the boy saw the man with the telescope. It's like it's saying the boy saw the man um, holding a telescope. Next, the boy saw the man using a telescope. So it's like an ambiguous sentences. By this fine tuning argument, it helps us to uh, correct the meaning or the sentences that has ambiguous meaning. Next, we have the fossilization argument. Without grammar, learners fossilize earlier. Next, grammar helps you to achieve um, high level. Um, when we say fossilization, it refers to two close notions. One is preserving the ancient linguistic features which lost their grammatical functions in language. Another is the loss of productivity of grammatical paradigm, which still remains in some words. In grammar, fossilization is it's like a second language learner make grammar mistakes because of their fluency is weak or they are not used in communicating in English language. So, however, when a speaker has developed fluency more truly than grammar usage, we often refer to that speaker as having fossilized grammar. Um, Next slide is going to be discussed by Janica Perete. Miss Janica Perete, please proceed.
Thank you, Miss Quinton. Now, I will organizer argument. So, in advanced organizer argument, it say that is grammar in structure, there is sometimes a delayed effect on a teacher's teach. Even a small information to should it can be a good effect in the future and make that students to become a fluent speaker. That's why teachers should serve as a reminder to always don't forget even a small informations, because it might be helpful to the students for the betterment of the grammar. Next is the learner expectations arguments. In learning expectations arguments, that the learner had already an idea and expectations before entering the language classroom. As an educator, we have to think of a plan on what should do to at least meet that expectations. It's either the teacher should stick to the old ways of teaching or introduce another way to make the learners learn naturally. The teacher should also consider if they're going to teach grammar and what grammar should they teach to the students. Next is the rule of law argument. So, in the rule of law arguments, we have these called transmissions, wherein the people who already have the knowledge about language teaches those who do not have much enough knowledge about the language. This is the connected to those way of learning wherein the rules, order, and discipline are always in the considerations. They have to follow what is existing protocol, and here in rule of law arguments, the grammar itself created a structure system that the teachers can use as a guide. Next is the discrete items argument. So I know that all of you already know that grammars consist of different rules that should be followed for a better understanding. Learning a language can be easy for both teachers and students by slowly engaging their lives in every discrete items. Discrete items are those units in grammar systems like present continuous, definite article, possessive pronoun, and so on. Next is pedagogical issues. So, according to USOB 2018, they have 5 issues of pedagogical. First, lack of experience. Second, expectation of the students. Third, lack of facilities. Fourth, negative perception on the teaching of grammar. And lastly, preparing grammar lessons. So, now may I call Miss Ocfemia to discuss the 5 issues of pedagogical.
I'm Michelle Ocfemia and I'm going to discuss the 4 pedagogical issues in teaching grammar. First is lack of experience and students' expectations. Students nowadays can detect or judge their teacher's personality, intelligence, etc. So if a teacher fails to introduce herself about her educational attainments and experiences to her students, the student might give wrong impressions that will make them uninterested in learning. A student might question the teacher's capability to teach him in a class because 21st century learners have high expectations when it comes to teachers' abilities. So for some students, will test their teacher's patience and intelligence. And students might even ask you about things that are not even related to the topic that a teacher is discussing. So be always prepared just in case a student will raise his hands in the middle of the discussion and ask about something not related to your topic. So all you have to do is to give your best to answer the student's question in a professional manner. This means that don't just stick with the book you are using to teach your students, but as a teacher, you must know a lot of things because students expect you to answer their questions whether the topic is relevant or not. So next is pedagogical issue. So next, pedagogical issue is about lack of facilities. So 21st century learners are digital natives and they have high expectations in terms of teaching strategies. So to make them motivate and focus on the discussion, A special presentation of your visual aid will get them out from boredom. So you can use a PowerPoint presentation or let them watch something that is animated visually because it will also help them to acquire knowledge. Third issue is negative perceptions on the teaching of grammar. So learning English language is not as basic as ABC. So especially if a student is not exposed on the language, so it needs preparation, motivation, and exposure to that said language. And even the teacher needs an exposure for her to be able to perform her teachings effectively and efficiently. So an English teacher must know. As an English teacher, must know the basic rules of grammar because it will help the students to develop their knowledge during the learning process. So a teacher must give students some academic activities that will enhance their communication skills. Like in school, reading and writing are keys to develop the students' grammar learning. And last pedagogical issue is preparing grammar lessons. According to Azar 2007, preparing grammar lessons on the part of teachers can be heavy and difficult than most people think. So in order to prepare grammar lessons, as a teacher, you must know the basic grammar rules to get started on your grammar teaching. According to Matthew Jones, author of English Learning, he stated that there are 5 easy ways to teach English grammar to your student. First step is to learn the part of speech, which will start with the meanings, functions, and categories of noun, pronoun, verb, adjective, adverb, prepositions, conjunctions, and interjection. Second step is to learn new vocabulary. Once you taught the 8 parts of speech, you can give examples and ask students to give examples as well as examples of nouns, pronouns, verb, etc. Step 3, learn the sentence structure. English sentences must have a subject and a verb. For example, the dog barks. Explain to your student the sentence meaning and explain the part of speech of each word you use in the sentence. And then teach them about the subject-verb agreement rule and the English word order rule. Step 4, learn the clauses. Explain to your students the meaning of clauses and their 2 types, which the independent clause means a sentence structure that can stand alone or with a complete thought. And the subordinate clause, which sentence structure is dependent or cannot stand alone. So after giving examples, you can move on to the last step of basic grammar teaching, and that is to learn English grammar tenses. Explain that the tenses express time in which an action takes place. So teach the students about 3 basic tenses in English, like past, present, and future tense. So that's all, class. We hope that you realize and learn something from our discussion today. And so if you have any questions or any clarifications regarding this topic, just feel free to ask us and we will address your concern as soon as possible. So once again, I am Michelle Ocfemia and I am with Janica Parete and Miriam Quinton. Thank you and have a nice day.